Announcing the commencement of the first purge.
I want you to change the world, and don't think that this is going to happen peacefully or you can do it alone. We need to kill the rich. You get out there, you use your weapons, and you rip Washington apart. You hunt down the billionaires, the bank bosses, the CEOs, the scumbags and the liars, the governors, the lobbyists, the senators, because they're all the same, and you hang them.
Just remember all the good the purge does.
Good afternoon, everyone. May 24th. So, patriotism. In the United States, patriotism used to mean something completely different than what it means now. It used to, in the early days of the United States, mean the fight for human freedom. And somewhere along the way, what instead happened was a definition change. And that definition is now anyone who will acquiesce to the authority of the state is now the patriot. And the person who demands their freedom is now a terrorist, or are now terrorists. It used to be that our people would fight at the notion of being overtaxed. Now, being a law-abiding, tax-paying, tax cattle is the new patriotism. Now, worshiping those who are responsible from top to bottom for your enslavement and the enforcement thereof. Now, patriotism is standing with your hand upon your heart, citing a pledge to a government, a state, that really has done more harm to you than good, and continues to do so. Now, if you exercise your Second Amendment without the proper paperwork, you're a criminal. Now, if you choose to utilize the many plants Mother Nature has to offer, you're a criminal. One of the plants our first official president enjoyed using. Now, patriotism is not saying anything when a law enforcement officer brutally beats somebody to death, or even worse. Yes, there's something worse than death. It's called enslavement. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that everyone who ends up dying at the hands of law enforcement are good guys, because a lot of them aren't. But a lot of people who end up dying at the hands of police are good guys. They're people who are unarmed, a lot of times on their knees or bellies. We have the change in patriotism. Now, it's patriotic to support an individual who has clearly lied and is clearly not what they claim. Now, patriotism is simply voting one ruling class group out for another. It used to be that the very idea of the level of tyranny we are currently under was unthinkable, and people were willing to die for their freedom. Now, people don't give a shit about anything but the material possessions they can accumulate. Now, people don't give a shit about anything but the amount of drugs and alcohol they can consume. And we all know I'm not against drugs, but your freedom, your soul comes first. Now freedom is moving from one place to the other without any problems from the state. Buying the products you wish to buy. Eating the junk fed to you. That's freedom now. It used to be freedom meant something completely different than what it means now. And here we are today. We are the very thing that so many died for, fighting against. We are the same monster, only worse. King George was. Why is it that worshiping a flag and a national anthem and a president why is it worshiping authority is now the new patriotism. Why? You know, there are other countries where people worship authority like us. And when I say us, I don't mean me. I mean you. The person I look over at in traffic. I mean you. The evangelicals who keep voting for pedophile conservatives. I mean you who vote for homosexual presidents. I mean you who vote for individuals like Lindsey Graham and John McCain. Not me. When did it become patriotic to worship your enslavers? And if you don't think you're a slave, if you really believe you're free, just try not paying your taxes on your house or your car. Or try buying a firearm and not registering it. Try going a little over the speed limit. Try engaging in normal human activities. Like getting high. And just see how free you are. You're free. You're free to do what you're told, when you're told, how you're told. And if you deviate from this model, then you get to go to prison and rot. Again, I'm not claiming that some people in there shouldn't be there. Clearly, this is a ridiculous notion, but the vast majority of the people in these prisons do not belong in them. And one day, you're going to be the one behind that fence. And all because you took pride in being your law-abiding citizen. All because you continue to acquiesce to authority. History shows what happens when a people gives a government too much authority. It has happened over and over and over again throughout the history of man, and the United States, along with Canada, will be no exception. If you continue to view patriotism as being obedient, law-abiding, you will be in a FEMA camp. You will, or possibly will, face a guillotine. Again, if you don't think this idea of a guillotine isn't real, just look in the Affordable Care Act. It's there. The time for denial is over with. There's too much evidence for any intelligent person to deny what's being done, what's been done, and the future to come. I hope you all have a good day. Kill the state before the state kills you.